let's look at the second picture of the story that Jesus tells, the story we call the prodigal son. And that second picture is the picture of the gracious Father. Boy, I love this picture. I think we all love this picture. The Father who allows the Son to go his own way. He doesn't force himself on his Son. He doesn't say, you must do what I tell you. He allows his Son to be abusive, to be disrespectful, to make his life work on his own. And then when his life comes tumbling down upon him, sometimes because of his own decisions, sometimes because of things that happen circumstantially, the Father is there to receive him. As Jesus tells the story, the young man returns home. Jesus doesn't make a big deal out of it, but think with me now. He's in famine. He's skin and bones. His clothes are ragged. He has no shoes. He's sold everything, and he limps home. And before he is even there, somehow his father sees him a long way off. And when his father sees him, he runs to embrace him. And the father doesn't wait for the son to get all the way home. Instead, he wraps his arms around him and kisses him and brings him back into the family. And the son starts to give his defense, his justification. Father, I know I've sinned against you. I know I've sinned against God. If you'll just let me come back, I'll be like, and his father just stops him and says, no, you are my son. You were dead and now you're alive. Welcome home. You're mine. What a gracious Father. As I think about this story and first century life, and well, it doesn't even have to be first century life. It could be life in our time and day. Think how we would consider a father, rich, maybe famous, prominent in the community, and a son who is disrespectful and sinful, runs away and wastes everything and comes limping home, and the father embraces him, puts clothes on his back and shoes on his feet, and has a celebration. What would we think? We might think, I don't know. Maybe that's why that kid was such a disaster, is because his dad never had any discipline. Or, I don't know, I think his dad ought to make him earn his way back into favor. I would imagine that part of the power of this story is the fact that the grace of the Father is actually a scandal. A father would receive his son after such action? How could that be? Isn't that just plain wrong? As Jesus tells the story, he wants us to understand that the actions of the Father in this story are the same kind of actions that God gives to us when we come to him. Our Heavenly Father isn't waiting to make us pay. He isn't saying, you've got to straighten up your life or I'm going to turn you away. He isn't saying, you've got to make up, you've got to make amends for all you've done wrong. The Father says, no, you come to me and I will receive you because of grace. That word grace, that word ought to be driven home to us. Grace is undeserved. We can't earn it. We can't go back and make up some sort of reaccounting of our life. Grace comes to us undeserved, and it brings with it God's favor, God's blessing, God's repair. God's renewal, that new opportunity. It's like he wipes the slate clean and he says, now that you're home, now we can rebuild what is lost. The grace of our Heavenly Father. It is scandalous. We think to ourselves, how can it be? We are facing tough times. I want you to know that the God who, okay, he didn't intervene, and people that we love might die. And certainly across our world, there are families who are grief-stricken today, and I get that. And our Father did not, although he could have, reached down. He did not change those outcomes, those results of people who choose to live their life without God. But regardless of that, he is still waiting for us as the Father waited for his Son. And he is saying to us in this story, if you will come to me, I will receive you. I will never turn you away. And the Father, the Heavenly Father who loves us, is a God of wonderful, amazing, scandalous grace. I've been playing songs along with these messages because the songs can help us feel what sometimes words can't quite picture. Here's a song. It's called Call It Grace. It's a contemporary Christian song. Oh, know the Father who gives us his grace.